Good afternoon, everybody, by the way. What is so powerful about today is how many people, how many fingerprints, how much vision and energy and love, and how many generations of this incredible community that raised me have brought this all together. So I am very, very honored to be in this space. I remember, how long was it, 2 years? When did we do the groundbreaking? A year ago, which is incredible also. A year ago, it was dark in here. There was like a blue light, I remember, for those of you that were at that event. Look, it's just absolutely stunning. It is absolutely stunning. And I could not be prouder just to have a chance to say a few words, Lynn. And to me, though, it's a little bit weird, but bear with me for a second. This morning, I was sitting down at the Rondout on the bench down there, and kudos to our mayor, Mayor Steve Noble, because it just looks beautiful down there. And that is where my Irish ancestors got off a boat. We don't quite know exactly the circuitous route, but they decided to come to Kingston. And the two words that I think were on their mind that tie us to where we are today are, I think, deeply American words, which are hard work. Hard work is the thing that we can all still agree on is what matters and what we need to support and what we need to sort of create the conditions for people willing to do that. And then I think about my grandpa on the other side, my mom's dad, who no high school education. He actually didn't finish high school to go serve in World War II, like so many incredible patriots. Came back here, and IBM at that time was a very different company. Companies were very different, big companies at that time. And he worked here 36 years. He might have worked in this building. Worked hard work. That's what's always, I think, been so special, the grittiness and the tenacity of Kingston and Ulster County and the Hudson Valley. And then, for my parents and really for my generation, our generation was kind of the first one that just felt the rug pulled out from under us when IBM left. I think I was in 3rd or 4th grade. And then, so many have said decades. And I think it's important to say decades. Brian Cahill knows this especially. Decades of driving by and feeling all the emotions that went with that and still go with that. So I think it's particularly important that I felt, at least when I had the honor to be your county executive, that if there's one thing I wanted to try to take some risk on and lean in on, it was that our generation and future generations would say, we're not going to drive by this place anymore and feel down. We're going to drive by this place and envision a future for our kids and our grandkids. And that meant taking a lot of risk, putting out a vision which is not going to go exactly as you can draw it up, of course. But to see this momentum and to see this come together, I think is really validating that taking risk and then putting in the hard work is still the formula here that we need to be supporting. And then to think about convening this team that we have here. And I'm really, really honored to have Joe Cotter's family here. I still remember driving down to one of his other projects, and trying to coax you all to come up here. Lynn will probably never forgive me for that. And just the sparkle in his eyes on a freezing cold day a few years ago when we stood out under that clock tower, and his willingness to see this and what a lot more that's going to come here. We're so appreciative. I'm so personally thankful to have just had the chance to spend a good amount of hours with your dad and with your son, ma'am. And our community will be forever changed, truly. So we're just very, very appreciative of that. Hearing from and I have to acknowledge, Jen, I left a lot of things that you've had to pick up and do better on. and I'm so thankful for you and your whole team that have leaned fully into this. To the EDA, the Ulster County EDA, that have put for no pay and lots of late night meetings, put your heart and soul into this, our county legislature, the town of Ulster, all of our partners at the county, to have the state here, to have the chamber here. Of course, Dr. Schenker, I want to just say a word about you that I think has to be said. Talk about hard work. Everybody put a lot of blood, sweat, and tears. I was out here when Peter was in his boots and the whole team was out here knocking walls down and everything else. But that takes vision, and to guide this through multiple school boards for approval, we all can appreciate how hard that is. To take on tremendous personal and reputational risk, really, to say it is so easy to give into all the things that could go wrong. Like, of course. And some of them have, and more probably will. But your personal leadership and willingness to stick through that, these young people that are here today, to see you guys come up and crush it in your remarks, I hope you know and appreciate, and I hope all the tens of thousands of young people that will come through these doors appreciate. That is directly because of your leadership, and so thank you for that. People have used all kinds of different metaphors and analogies. We've talked about steps, we've talked about all kinds of different things. I really believe this is a giant leap. It is a giant leap for our whole community. And it's a leap in which, again, at first it felt like, I don't know, are we going to make it to the other side across this huge leap? We have made it today. I really, really believe that, because it's only going to be forward momentum from here. So the last call to action, coming back to what I started with, hard work. There are, and I understand that from a place of good faith, people who will have doubts, and people who will question, and people who will say it's not going as fast as we want, and it is, isn't exactly as we said a few years ago. With all respect, that's not what we need here. We need hard work. People willing to do the work. People willing to be positive and constructive and work as a team. And that is what has gotten us to this point. And if anybody wants to discuss that, I'm happy to have a conversation. But that is what we owe the young people who, if you all could stand up for just 1 second. This is for you guys.